And welcome to Nancy's Neighborhood, folks. And I think we've had kind of an exciting day today in Bradley County because we had an earthquake. And it only registered 4.4 on the Richter, and I think we had a second one was like 3.3. I slept through it, and it was right in my backyard. I live in Georgetown, probably 5 minutes from the Meigs County line. But anyway, it's been the talk of the day today is the fact that we had an earthquake. So we have all survived, and I think that's wonderful. And it was kind of a fun experience for those of us in East Tennessee because we don't ever have earthquakes. So anyway, good to have you on Nancy's Neighborhood today. They said 50 degrees today, but it's a cold 50 degrees out there, folks, and I didn't dress for cold 50. I just dressed for 50. So it's good to be with you all today, and I have some guests from New Hope, and I'm thrilled to death to have them here. Tracy Shellhouse has been with me before, and she has brought a guest with her, David Chaffin. Chaffin. And I'm so glad to have them here with us today because they want to talk to us about a couple of things that are happening with them, and then end of the year giving.
Yes.
So Tracy, kick us off here and tell us what's happening.
Well, of course, at New Hope, we are having a phenomenal year. It's wrapping up strong. And, last year was a record-breaking year.
Yes.
Well, this year has already exceeded that.
Oh, wow.
It is amazing. By the time we got to the end of August, we had already had more at-risk mothers choose life for their babies than we did in all of 2017, which was the biggest year we'd ever had.
Phenomenal.
And by the time we got to the end of September, we had already surpassed the numbers of pregnancy tests we did last year, so we're still growing. But with that growth means that we need resources. And so this is a great time of the year for people to partner with New Hope and help us make sure that we end this year strong and we start next year on a good foot.
And I think that's awesome. Tell everybody, give them a general idea of what you all do, or maybe even more than a basic idea of what you all do.
Well, New Hope is a pregnancy help medical clinic, and what we do is we empower those who are facing unplanned pregnancy in the Bradley County area to make life-affirming decisions. And we do this by providing help, hope, and accurate information, and everything we do is free and it's confidential, and we also provide community education. But what that looks like in our center is that we have a medical clinic, and I'm excited that David's here with me today. David is our medical director.
Oh, fantastic.
And so has been on the board now, I guess, for about 8 or 9 years. It's been a good long time.
Yes.
And David and I worked really closely together to get the medical clinic up and going, and it has been amazingly successful. But you're able to come in and get a free pregnancy test and also an ultrasound if you're pregnant to determine the viability of the pregnancy. If you find out that day that you're pregnant, you can get a free year supply of prenatal vitamins to start immediately. We also have healthy pregnancy coaching from our medical team. And then you can get enrolled in some of our education programs. And what I love about them is their incentive programs. So we don't just give handouts. We really want people to learn, and we expect them to earn it. So our program is called the Earn While You Learn program. And we provide financial education, parenting education, how to communicate, and then how to parent well throughout all the stages, because it's different having a little bitty one that's just sweet and precious, and then those 2-year-olds, and they're still sweet and precious, but it's different kinds of parenting.
And it's a different kind of sweet and precious.
Yeah, it is. When they're little, you both need a nap, and when they're 2, you both still need a nap because
That's
it's
exactly
exhausting.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so we talk with people about that. And then also, part of what we do is we are a Christian nonprofit. So what really guides us and the reason we do what we do is the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so we're also involved in offering the opportunity for people to grow in their relationship with Christ, spiritual formation and growth and those kinds of things. But through the Earn While You Learn program, that is where we partner with them once we encourage them to choose life. And we tell them, we're going to be with you. You don't have to do it by yourself. And that is one of the first ways that we partner. They earn it by doing the book reports, watching the videos, talking with us, setting goals, and working toward accomplishing those goals. But as they do it, they earn baby bucks. And then they take those baby bucks into our Hope Chest, which looks like a high-end baby boutique, and they're able to exchange it for the items they need, like car seats, cribs, clothing, maternity clothes. Our food and formula is always free. Of course, there's limitations as to how much they can get, but those are essentials. And one of the big things is diapers.
Oh,
Diapers
yes.
and wipes.
Yes.
Yeah, very few of our clients choose to go the cloth diaper route. I don't blame them. I
don't
didn't either. I think it's wonderful. It is wonderful if you have the fortitude to do it. But in this society where we're used to quick and easy, disposable definitely seems to be a lot easier. But it's pricey. And that is an expense that new parents take on. And so we help mitigate some of the issues that they might face and actually prevent problems and difficulties. And then we also stand with them through the difficult things because, my husband and I have 4 children, and children are a blessing, but parenting is hard.
Yes, it is.
And then also often when you're young and you have small children, parenting financially can be difficult. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that our clients don't feel alone. They have someone to step up alongside them and help them. They're not by themselves.
And you're talking about the diapers. I remember my mother telling when I was an infant, there were diaper services.
Yes.
They would come by and pick up the diapers, and they would clean, bring you the fresh diapers and this, that, and the other. We don't have that anymore.
There's actually a few places that
really?
do, but it's expensive.
Okay.
It's expensive, and again, we find you still have to hold on to those things. So like if you're out in town, you still have to put that used diaper into something to get it back home before the diaper service can come pick it up. I do know that about 5 years ago, there were sort of a crop of these diaper services across our nation that picked up because we understand that really cloth is best. They are going to potty train better. They're going to have less diaper rashes if they're going to have any. But the bottom line is it's still a lot of work. And even to get them to the diaper service, those out there that haven't used cloth diapers, you still have to cleanse them to a point while you store them before you wash them. And I just think we live in a day and age that a lot of people, unless they're super committed, are not going to do that.
That's exactly right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So the medical services you offer, this is not really, it's a relatively new thing that you all
It
have
is.
added. So David handles that for you then.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so kind of give us a little overview of what you do.
Well, when the young ladies come in to New Hope and have an ultrasound, I'm able to read that on a laptop no matter where I am. In fact, I can remember reading ultrasounds when I was on a mission trip to Africa. So, but that I read the ultrasounds. The most valuable thing that the ultrasound does is, let's say it's one of those women that come in and they are at risk, and they come in and they've been told things that aren't true, that all they have in their body is a blob of tissue, but they see that ultrasound image real time. And they see those arms moving, and it goes from being a blob of tissue to my baby. And that mental change, we know statistically, takes that woman from maybe, say, a 55% chance of carrying it to term to greater than 90%
Oh, wow.
in our hands at New Hope.
Okay, and that is great. So, like I said, this is not new, but it's relatively new. How long
is.
have you had the medical aspect of it?
We opened the medical clinic July 2016.
Okay, I knew it wasn't very long.
It really, really got going and got traction in 2017. One of the great things about Cleveland is it isn't a tiny town, and yet there's still that small town feeling, and people talk. And so what happens is if we have a client that comes in and they are going to have a wonderful experience, when they leave, they go and they talk to others. And so what we are seeing is we're still seeing a lot of growth. There will come a point that we, sort of saturate, and we are serving all of those facing unplanned pregnancy here. But there are still more because, as I've shared with people, like this year, that we have already served, by the end of November, 38 pregnant at-risk women. These are women that would consider or be vulnerable to abortion. And 36 of them have already committed to carry their children to term. And when I talk about that, and I talk about, back in Before, our biggest year ever was 2013 when we had 11 women choose
wow.
life.
Okay.
And so last year was 29. This year we're already at 36. And sometimes people go, oh, because what they're thinking is there's more people that are at risk. No, there have always been people at risk. What it is they now recognize that we have something that is of value. It is very powerful. It's something that they can't get anywhere else for free in this community. And they can get answers. And what it is we're reaching those who are at risk that need help and they need answers. So what's happening is we're better fulfilling our mission than we ever have before.
Absolutely. And I think one thing, too, when people come to you now, they realize that they're not coming in for condemnation, but they're coming
yes.
in for help. And I think
Absolutely.
that makes a big difference in these unplanned pregnancies.
It does. You know, one of the things that I love is we have exit evaluations for our clients. And those that come in and we ask them, you know, how were you made to feel? And so many of them, I was welcomed, I was loved. I wasn't judged. I thought I would
Right.
be, and I wasn't. One of the other things I love is we ask them, how can we improve our services? And so often we get the answer, I don't know. They're great just the way they are.
Oh, fantastic.
You know, and so that it's amazing feedback, and it's very powerful. And like I said, in this community, that word of mouth marketing, getting out, our number one referral source, or the way people find us, is friends.
Yes, and I was going to ask you about that. Now, you're my neighbor. You're on Worth Street.
Yes.
So tell everybody where you are located.
Well, we are on the corner of 4th and Worth, and we are where Dr. Kruger's office used to be. A lot of people are familiar with it because they went through there for chemo or something along those lines. We sit and we can look at the back side of Broad Street United Methodist and the corner of Joe Rogers Office Supply. And what I love about the location is before we were on Mouse Creek, which is very heavily trafficked. And so now we're off the beaten path, but we're still downtown. We are convenient and easy to find. We have multiple public parking lots near us.
Right.
So people can park and not feel that everyone knows where they're at. And so they have the ability to be anonymous when they come through our doors. But one of the things I love most about where we're located is our street name, is we're on Worth Street. And, you know, that's part of why we are offering the opportunity for people to partner with us. As we do fundraisers and events, and we have this year-end appeal, what we're doing is we're offering people the opportunity to be a part of something that is changing and saving lives in this community. And what we do and all the work we put into going medical, and all the money that had to be raised, and the training, and the policies and procedures that had to be written. We had to move to a new location so that we had enough room. We had to enlarge our staff. We had to increase our programs. All of it has been worth it.
And it was a God thing as far as the location is concerned, because when we were on South Mouse, we also had a satellite location in another part of Cleveland, and now we're close to that part of Cleveland, as well as very serviceable to the Lee campus.
But
Yes.
you closed your satellite, right? So
We did. We
everything
combined
is
them.
located right there on Worth. Okay, so David, you've been with them since 2016.
No,
No.
I've been on the board for about 8 years.
Okay.
But when we went medical, I transitioned to medical director, and they didn't allow me to escape the board either. So I wear 2 hats.
You know that happens. And someone told me the other day that the word "no" was still in vocabulary, so you can say that. I have a hard time with it, but I think y'all are wonderful neighbors. I'll say that because I seldom know that you're there. I mean, it's great to have neighbors like that. So it's been great to have you all on with us today. Give a last little appeal, Tracy,
Okay.
because what we're running up against is end of the year.
Yes.
And everybody may or may not have a little extra money and want to know what to do with it.
Yes. And so as we added the medical clinic, it increased our expenses by about $90,000 a year.
Ooh.
And so we've been very blessed this year that the United Way Health Endowment Fund, we're one of the recipients. And so this year they're making up $50,000 of that. So it leaves us with $40,000 that we need to
Okay.
raise. And at this point right now, that's what we're trying to raise at this year-end appeal, but we have $34,000 of that to go. So people can go to our website at newhopepcc.org. They can give by text if they want. You can just text to 423-301-5553 and give that way. You can go to Facebook and find us. There's many, many different ways. I encourage people, and we're about to close shop for the year, but to get in this week or get in on Monday and Tuesday of next week, drop off a check and see where your money's going.
Right.
Because it is beautiful, and we would love to tell them about what all's happening there. And, you know, David did a tour, I guess probably 5 or 6 months ago, and I love David's response. He went back to the board and he said, y'all need to go do a tour. I've been on the board for 8 years, and I still learn stuff. And it's very powerful, but also I think seeing where everything happens.
Right.
And how beautiful and how much care we put into even the environment our clients are in. It is a great way to understand our hearts. And so if people want to drop off checks, if they want to give online, monthly donors would be absolutely great.
Oh, that's be a
Yeah.
great way to kind of, it's tough to plan a budget
It is.
if you don't know where exactly the money's coming from and when
Absolutely.
it's coming in.
You know, and I often talk with people and they go, well, I would love to give a gift, but we don't have a lot of money. We have a donor that has been giving $5 a year, but they've been giving $5 a year for more than a decade.
Oh, wow.
That makes a difference.
It really does.
And I do believe that God can prompt hearts to give as they're led, and there are people that have the means or the capacity to be able to give very, very large gifts, but there are those that don't necessarily have it. But you know, when it all comes together into one place, and then we have the opportunity to use it to be able to provide those services, that $5 gift has an impact. That $5,000 gift
Right.
has an impact. And so this is a great time of the year to partner with us, and also consider getting involved in a new mission in 2019. If you're going to set a New Year's resolution, how about supporting life?
And
That's
I
a good
think
one.
that is awesome. Thank you all so much for being on with me today. I really appreciate it. Like I say, you're great neighbors.
Thank
Love
you.
having you next door. And if anybody has a hard time finding them, stop by the Red Ribbon, and I'll just point out my back door and say, there they are, because there they are on Worth Street. And it's a great mission. And thank you all so much.
Thank
and if I
you.
don't see you before, have a Merry Christmas.
You too.
Same to you.
Folks, don't go away. We'll be right back. We're going to do a couple of commercials. And remember, watch our commercials, support our sponsors, because they pay our bills. So I'll be right back after these commercials.